Hey, this is Henry Chadwick, and you are listening to the Loudini Rock and Roll Circus podcast.
Hey, everyone out there in podcast land. This is Lou Lombardi, a.k.a. Loudini, with another edition of the Loudini Rock and Roll Circus. We've got an interview today with singer-songwriter, multi-instrumentalist Henry Chadwick. It's going to be a good show, so stick around. Before we get started, I'd like to thank my sponsor, my long-suffering sponsor. They put up with all the crap I give them. I'd like to thank Positively Pittsburgh Live magazine, Pittsburgh's first internet radio, TV network, online community, and business directory where you can listen to and download all kind of great audio and video created by members of the community. You can read great articles, get coupons for all kind of fantastic stuff. And you can find all kind of cool businesses. If you're so inclined, you can sign up and get your own magazine page. And there's all kind of cool stuff there, like us. The Loudini Rock and Roll Circus is one of the more prominent podcasts there. So you definitely want to check that out. Positively Pittsburgh Live Magazine, pplmag.com. And speaking of the .coms, you are listening to the Loudini Rock and Roll Circus, and that is LoudiniRockandRollCircus.com. Every Wednesday is a new interview. Every Saturday is a new music podcast where you get to actually get a little taste of the artists that we get to talk to here. Also, if you would like to get involved, if you're excited about independent music, if you're sick of the crap that's on the radio, go to supportindierock.com and you can get directly involved. We have a lot of programs that we are working on putting together, and with your help, we can get artists like Henry Chadwick here, who's with us today. Get his music out there to more and more people. That's really important to us, and I know it is to you. And speaking of Henry, we've got singer-songwriter Henry Chadwick on the line. His new self-produced EP, Guest at Home, showcases Henry's skills as he wrote, engineered, and played most of the instruments on it. Henry draws influences as much from music of the past, like the Beatles, the Kinks, T-Rex, Nirvana, and David Bowie, as from current artists who keep pushing forward stylistically and sonically. Henry makes catchy, thoughtful, and unusually energetic music with a unique perspective, edge, and charm. Henry, welcome to the podcast. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
No problem, my man. So, Henry, let's get like a little taste or a little feel for who you are, where you come from, and so take us back to the beginning. How did you get started in music?
Back to the beginning. Let me see. I guess I would have to go back before I was born. If we're going to go all the way back.
Oh my!
But
first fooled.
Yeah, exactly. No, my dad was an engineer down in Hollywood in the '80s, and before I was born, and my mom was a singer-songwriter at the time, and my dad left the business and moved up north here to the Santa Cruz area, the Bay Area, California, when my brother was born in the late '80s, and he kind of took a bunch of recording equipment that he'd been saving up through the years, and kind of raised us early on to just at least, expose us to music and to get us to start, trying to be creative and listening to stuff. And then when we moved up to a place where we could do it, he built a studio sort of situation with all of his old stuff and kind of, indoctrinated us into the world of recording, brainwashed us. But so yeah, I guess I've been doing it in one way or another since I was a youngin', and kind of whether I knew it or not, learning a lot about recording along the way.
Well, first of all, did you start singing? Did you start playing the guitar, drums, bass? What did you start with in terms of instruments?
I actually first started, which is funny because I'm by far the worst at this out of all the instruments, but I started playing keys and just singing, and I always sang, but I started playing keys, and I'm pretty terrible at keys now. I can kind of make my way around it. I'm like relearning them, but that was my first band. I played keys and sang. back when I was in 5th grade or so, 5th grade.
What was the first song you remember singing?
The first song I remember singing, wow. Well, I was obsessed with the Beatles. I remember digging through my parents' record collection and just I absorbed. And it's funny because I feel like everyone has the same answer about the early influences. But the Beatles are just such a big thing for a lot of people, I think. But that was just that was huge. And so I remember singing. I would do these impressions of the Beatles and sing their songs and stuff. And what was the one of them? When I'm 64. And it's funny because all the ones that kids a lot were the ones I definitely liked. But I remember loving the Beatles. I actually appeared on there's a few of those circulating online from through time, just different kids sing the Beatles albums, kids albums of different kids sing the Beatles stuff. And me and my brother and my sister all wound up singing on a few of those songs.
Henry, I listened to some of that stuff today.
Did you really?
I found it.
Someone wrote me before. Someone wrote me before I put my new single out, which is the first thing I put out under my own name, and they were like, "Hey, I was looking to see if you had any stuff out, and I found some stuff of you when you were a kid, or I think it was you." And I was like, "Oh my God, I can't believe that's online."
It's on YouTube. Yeah, you know what it was? I actually thought that maybe it was something you had produced. I didn't realize it was actually you as a kid singing. That's cool.
Yeah. Pretty funny.
So
that's probably the first stuff. Yeah.
So you're a Beatles guy, Bowie, Kinks, stuff like that. What artists currently do you like?
Currently, gosh, well,
within the last 5-10 years. I mean, it doesn't have to be like this.
There's actually been a really cool wave of new music I like a lot. Actually, kind of a cool sort of retro-y rock, almost punk kind of garage rock scene going on. Lately I've been into, I guess in the grander scope of 5 years, like Cage the Elephant and Arctic Monkeys and Strokes, although that goes farther back. But then I've been getting into Mac DeMarco and bands like Waves and Fiddler and some of the stuff that Ty Segall puts out is cool, and there's this band called Wand. There's a cool wave of garage rock psychedelic music going on.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. I don't know. I really like a lot of everything. It's actually, I feel like it's one of the cool things about just kind of where we're at with how you can access music now is there's a blessing and a curse, because you find a lot of stuff you don't like, but there's just a lot of stuff if you know where to look that's pretty awesome out there.
This brings up a good point, because there's a lot of amazing music. And when I started doing this a couple of years ago, I was just completely floored by how much really good stuff. But there's also a giant, mounds of just crap. People that really can't do anything, so how do you find stuff? How do you find the really awesome stuff?
Well, Spotify ends up doing a pretty good job sometimes, or Spotify or Apple Music of recommending music based on what you listen to. So sometimes I find things like that, and then word of mouth. I operate a little recording studio situation, and I record some local bands up here. And when I'm getting involved in starting their projects, I always ask for their reference tracks, partially because I, to help me gauge what they want to sound like, but also partially because I'm just always looking for new music. I don't tell them that though. But
we do same thing here. A lot of word of mouth recommendation. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, that was basically all I was going to say. Just that's always helpful. Just having someone that is into music that's enthusiastic about telling you what they're into. So yeah.
Let's talk. Okay, we'll jump around here a little bit. Let's talk about Guest at Home, but I also want to talk about. Am I saying this right? The Coffis Brothers.
Yeah, the Coffis Brothers.
And And you like the brother word, so you have my stupid brother. That's not about your brother, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, it is.
Well, actually, yeah. We were both in that. That was me and my brother's project for a long time.
Oh, how brilliant! Okay, we'll get into that in a second. Let's talk about Guest at Home. And is it like officially released, or because I was searching it and I could just hear the one song? All right, is that what's called? Yeah.
Right. That's the only one that's out thus far. By the time this is aired, the rest of it might be out. It's coming out May 8th.
Okay.
The rest of the EP, but yeah, just so far just that one. But the EP is a 5-song EP, and I felt like I think they all have something. They all have, each of the songs has their own sort of thing. They're all a little different, but they all seem to have a similar sort of thread or sound or theme that kind of runs through them. I think they all fit together in a way. But yeah, I just put out that one, and it's been getting a cool reaction online. Feels good to put out something that's different than I've put out in the past and have it, people like it, so that's cool.
I'm going to have to ask you this question, and everybody hates this question, so don't feel bad. But can you put your sound now? We're going to talk about, because your sound with the Coffis Brothers and my stupid brother is a little bit different. But right. Your sound, on this record, Guest at Home. Can you just sort of put it into words? What the sound, the style is? Yeah,
I mean, I think that. God, I mean, that is a hard question, but
yeah, it is.
But I think that it falls somewhere between all my influences. I feel like it's kind of I feel like I'm finding somewhat of my own sound a little bit, which is cool. But I think it falls somewhere between like all my early influences, like the Beatles and things from the '60s, like all that, the British Invasion kind of scene, through the bands I liked from. I kind of am taking bits and pieces of things I like, so like some sort of 70s warm, fat sounds, kind of like T-Rex sounds, and then all the way through, like I can't help but avoid, like I got really into Nirvana and Green Day in the 90s. Like I remember I found the Nirvana Nevermind, and I would put it in my Discman, and just like it was my lullaby going to sleep, which is kind of I don't know how good that was for me developmentally, but it was so that stuff, and then plus, I guess then at a certain point, like a lot of bands started. I don't know if this is even kind of on a tangent now, but I think that bands started to circle back. And sort of, I guess it's basically just like I got really into all of the bands of the 2000s, like the Vines and the Hives and the Strokes and all that stuff, which is kind of like they were throwing back to similar influence. So I guess in short, the short answer, after all the long answers, probably falls somewhere between like the Beatles and Nirvana and like the Strokes and I guess whatever else is out there. I guess if you were going to give it a genre name, you might call it like alternative, indie rock or something.
Yeah, I just wanted you to kind of see if you could express it in words, because it helps too, like when you're trying to like bring in new fans and stuff like that. They mean, well, what the hell do you do?
Right.
For sure.
Yeah. I think it aims to sound like something that belongs today, like it, but it also is not. I'm not hiding the fact that I'm definitely drawing influences from different eras and times and all. I think that's kind of a cool combination.
I think All Right definitely has something that harkens to like the 70s, I think, a little bit too, even though it's very now sounding. You know what I mean? It doesn't sound like, an old record, but, so I think it has that kind of vibe. I get what you're saying. It has this sort of like kind of warm sort of sound to it. It's a very, very beautiful song.
Thank you.
Now, why? What do you get? Okay, because you're working these other projects. What is it about doing your own project that you can't seem to get out of doing projects with these other bands you're with?
It's a good question. Well, I mean, I'm not writing the songs so much in the band. I'm drumming in the Coffis Brothers, and they write. I do that. I get a a great experience out of that as well, playing drums, and they're great musicians and they write good songs, and I love playing and touring with them. And but I also, I feel like I need to write songs, and I feel like there's a freedom to kind of move around stylistically from project to project, or even from song to song if it's just under your own name, or if it's your own thing. And it's kind of nice. It's actually been really nice working on this project without trying to think of, having it fit into a different sort of style or sound. Like with the other band I wrote a lot of the songs for, My Stupid Brother, it's still like you have to, the whole band has to be stoked on the direction it's heading, and it has to be, which is cool too, and I love being part of a band and a group and a team. But if I have a lot of ideas, which I've been having a lot of ideas for songs, it's really nice to just be able to run with them. So yeah, I guess that answers it probably.
Yeah, so it's like no restrictions. You can kind of I want to go explore this sound, and I'm going to go over and explore this sound, and
yeah.
As opposed to somebody going like, well, that doesn't really fit with the image or the genre of the band.
Exactly. Yeah. And I feel like there's a lot of cool artists that are solo artists you can see how they're like, it seems like it's easier for them album to album to like do something totally different, and people aren't like totally turned off by them, like David Bowie is a good example, or like someone like Beck, who's just kind of always throwing curveballs, or I feel like there's a freedom there.
What is the how do you? Okay, let's talk about how do you approach songwriting generally? I mean, do you sit down? Do you get like a musical idea, or do you have lyrics running like through your head? Like, and I want to talk to you about the Cave too. But let's talk about this first. The songwriting. How does that work for you?
Well, as far as songwriting goes, I think I'm a instinctually very melody-driven person, melody and rhythmically. So, for the longest time, it was lyrics were the hardest thing. So I would come up with a melody and like this sort of motif or whatever, and sit down with a guitar and mess with chords, and I would start there. And then I would find that I wasn't finishing songs lyrically, and I'd just get super stuck. So then I just started writing a lot of lyrics just with no melody in mind, and I guess it's kind of, I try to keep it's easy to get stuck starting from one place or another and just kind of get a writer's block. So I try to start working on songs from different starting places to keep it fresh.
Right.
But I think first and foremost, I'm kind of I hear melody and rhythm, and then textures, and then the words I had to kind of work over the years at making that part of my, come to mind quickly,
Right. Well, in terms of the lyrics, like how are you, how important, I know it's important, but what I'm trying to say is like, what sort of vibe do you try to go for with lyrics? Are you try to be like more obscure, more cryptic, or do you prefer to be like more like kind of literal, or do you care? Are you just looking for words that sound good together?
I would say that I lean towards not being as blatant and obvious. I like a little bit of mystery, or a little bit of like a club, like just like I love like sort of double meanings, or just I like it to be vague enough that it could mean something to you in multiple situations,
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think I like it. I tend to write songs that are I mean, I hopefully, about something and consistent, but leave enough room for interpretation.
You played almost everything on this new record on your own, right? By yourself.
Yeah. I played everything except for the bass on actually everything on All Right I played on that song, but all the rest of the songs, the bass player of the Coffis Brothers, Aidan Collins, who's now I've got a live band going on, which is him and the guitar player, the Coffis Brothers, Kyle Poppin, and a drummer, old drummer of my old band, Jesse Wilkinson. But Kyle played extra guitar on one song as well. We did a cool thing with like layering of ebows. Like I have an ebow, and he did this kind of guitar harmony thing, and it's a cool part at the end of this ballad. But other than that, and Aiden's bass, which he did a great job on, I played everything.
So in this band, I mean, and when you guys perform, you're going to handle guitar duties, not bass, right? Because in My Stupid Brother, you're bass guitar, right?
That's correct. Yeah. So,
okay, so
I've been actually for a little while, like the lineup towards it has sort of been switched around. I was leaning towards playing guitar and singing and getting a bass player live. But it's in this situation I'm playing guitar, rhythm guitar, and singing. And it's 2 guitars, bass, drums.
What's the plan? Are you guys going to tour, or are you just going to play? Well, you're what? Where are you calling from? You calling from LA or?
I'm calling from the Bay Area, Santa Cruz.
Okay. All right. So are you mainly kind of like work in that region, or is this something you think you're going to be able to do like a larger tour with?
I'd love to schedule. I've been thinking more about scheduling a tour. You mentioned the Coffis Brothers. That band is definitely a live band and ends up touring. So it's a matter of picking the right dates that fit with everyone's schedules and getting a good length thing. And in the meantime, picking dates a little more locally. But yeah, we're definitely it's a new development, the live band. So we're still working out those kinks, but we'd love to get out there and play some shows out of town and do some tours. You've got a lot of streams for the song All Right within like the first week it got released. I mean, are you like? I mean, what do you attribute that to? I mean, is this your involvement because you've been involved with so many different artists and you produce other artists? So a lot of people know who you are, or I guess one of the reasons I'm asking is because a lot of other bands listen to my interviews, and so they're going to want to know what your secret is. I've gotta give a shout out to the publicist that I've been working with. She's been sending my stuff out, Citybird Publicity. Mm-hmm. She's been sending it out, and I don't know what she said to the people, but but Indie Shuffle was a blog that people go to and listen to music on, and they posted my song as a song of the day, and people ended up really liking it. It was very flattering and a little bit mind blowing. It was awesome. People really liked it, and it was the song of it was the top streamed song of the week for a few days there. And they keep listening, so it's more than I hoped for. It's awesome.
I know that your new record hasn't even come out yet. You just got the single out, and you're really excited about that. I really liked your work with My Stupid Brother. So I was listening to that CD today, and it's just really good rock and roll, So is there any plans to like reunite with your brother and do something else at some point, or is that just kind of like a permanent, or you don't know, completely question mark?
It's I would say I just don't know question mark. I would say there's definitely a chance we'd get back together and do some shows and work on some more stuff. He's kind of he's a grown up now. He's got his master's, and he's got a real job and a wife and a dog, and he's got a place, and he's much more mature than I am. So I don't know if for a little while we did some shows without him, which felt weird. We did like a 5-piece band with him, and then he would come back when he could and do them. But he's doing great, and he's doing his thing. He's a really good visual artist. Actually, he did the artwork for my EP and my single and whatnot, the graphic design.
Well, I love the video to She's a Freak.
Oh, thank you.
That's really fun, you know. That was good.
That was a fun one to shoot. Yeah, the zombie one. Yeah, I just did another video with those guys over the weekend a few weeks ago, and it'll definitely be out by the time this comes out for All Right, and that should be fun. It's like the theme of it is it's my birthday, but it's like they throw a surprise party. A bunch of people throw a surprise party for me, but I'm just super bummed the whole time, and they're trying to cheer me up. And it's pretty funny, I think.
Sounds cool. All right, man. So like, how can this is the part where we let everybody know how they can sort of like find out what you're doing. So go ahead and just promotion right there.
Man, you can definitely Google me. Although the first thing that might come up is the guy who invented the scoreboard.
Right.
Yeah, which you might have already found. Damn, man. But you can Google me. You can look me up. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Twitter. I'm on. My website is henrychadwick.net. My music's up on iTunes and Spotify and SoundCloud, and I exist now online. So if you search for me, you'll find me. Yeah.
That is henrychadwick.net. And if you want to do a Google search, guys, make sure you put in like Henry Chadwick, like maybe in quotes with band or musician next to
yeah,
so you get the
all
right.
Right. Yeah,
or all, yeah, put the song, all, yeah.
Definitely.
Definitely. Cause, yeah. I was like, wait a minute, this does not look like the right person. You got a couple of minutes? I want to do a bonus question with you after we wrap up here.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, we'll do a bonus question. Hey, guys, you've been listening to Henry Chadwick here. Henry Chadwick, if you check out he's a bunch of projects, Coffis Brothers, My Stupid Brother, you got to think about brothers. Check those bands up, but his new project is probably out already by the time you listen to this. It's called Guest at Home. It's an EP. He's just a really great singer-songwriter with a great feel and a great vibe. This is a really groovy record, and you're really going to dig it. Go to henrychadwick.net. All right, guys. Loudini Rock and Roll Circus. You can check us out at loudinirockandrollcircus.com. Please visit us there. Every Wednesday there's a new interview, and every Saturday a brand new music podcast. If you like this kind of music and you believe in what artists like Henry are doing, please go to supportindierock.com and get involved there. One more time, shout out to my sponsor, Positively Pittsburgh Live Magazine. That is pplmag.com. Guys, thank you so much. Once again, LoudiniRockandRollCircus.com. My name is Lou Lombardi, and I will see you guys on the next podcast.